Coffee with Keto Simple. My name is Dustin. I'm so glad you're here. This stream will be starting soon, so grab your coffee, get comfortable, and settle in. We're building a strong and supportive community, so say hello in the chat, ask questions, and feel free to use super chats if there's anything that you want to see highlighted. Thank you for being here and being a part of this journey. Let's keep it positive and respectful as we connect and grow together. I can't wait to get started. Oh, that's weird. My microphone was messed up. Okay. All right. So that's fun. That's fun. Anyway, welcome. Happy Sunday. This is what I get for the granddaughter coming in and just running in and pulling curtains back and doing all these things. Anyway, now let me know if you can hear me. Sound. There we go. I think we're good. Welcome. Happy Sunday. I swear I'm a semi-professional at this. I know what I'm doing. I've done it a few times before. For some reason, the mic cable came loose, whatever. Anyway, I started putting this together Friday night. Really to get ahead of the game because, again, as I was saying, you couldn't hear me, that I was going to be out of town yesterday, in which I was. So I figured I would get some of this organized early before life's inevitability throws me a curveball, right? Summer break has eventually started. June is here. I think summer might be my favorite time of year. Well, I take that back. I don't know. I like when summer starts to break and we can start to pull the hoodies out, right? That's what I look for. And JJ, I will repeat the last 5 minutes of this. But thank you all so much for being here anyway. It does fill my heart with joy to see each and every one of you here week in and week out. But again, like I said, I started putting this together Friday because you never know what's going to happen. And I typically don't put these together till sometime Sunday or Saturday, rather. But I put it together Friday before I went to bed, so I wouldn't have to worry about it yesterday because we went up to celebrate the life of Evelyn's mother. And again, one of the things about this community is the fact that it's more than just diet. It's more than just the food that we put into our bodies. It's more than exercise. It's being there for one another. Because how valuable is that above all else? Because that's really what we are building here. Obviously, it's a space to try and figure things out for ourselves, to help others explore ideas that they may not have thought of, as far as, the proper human diet is concerned, right? So I started getting this together. Thursday, we celebrated Chandra's birthday. Her birthday was yesterday. And she had to work. I went up to Highland, Indiana, up near Hammond, near Gary, Indiana, so not too far from Chicago. And so so Shannon and I and the kids, we went out to dinner. We went to get sushi. That's typically what she wants for her birthday. And now she's older than me for the next 18 days now. And obviously I was down for it, but it was her idea. She volunteered me to go spend time with Evelyn and Carl and her kids. And I got to meet her brothers and it was a very interesting afternoon. And I love the opportunity to be able to spend and kind of get to know her even better than I did before. And yeah, that threw me off a little bit. One thing that she was talking about, because Evelyn talked about her mother, and one of the things, not to get too deep into the things that were said yesterday, but one of the things that Evelyn talked about her mother was the idea that her mother was a very outgoing person. Once she was out, once she was there, she was able to just kind of command a room, command attention. And before she would do that, she was nervous and self-doubting. And I think that that's all of us. Just before I hit go live every Sunday, every Tuesday, anytime I walk into a room dealing with this community, there's always something. Anytime I do a live with somebody else, anytime I do anything, anytime I'm talking about any of this, I always have self-doubt. Am I good enough? Do I know enough? And obviously we never know at all because it's impossible. Even when I'm sitting and I know my stuff, right? I know what I know. But there are times where I kind of sit back and I'm like, am I forgetting everything? Do I know what I should know? So the self-doubt is there for each and every one of us. It's a matter of, do we allow it to stop us from walking through that door and being what people need from us? And I think that's what truly separates us from those who have the self-doubt and then are never able to actualize it or actually throw who they are into the world. I think that's one of the things. I think and most of us are able to do that. One of the things that happened yesterday is I got into town, and maybe some of you have seen this, but I got into town, and I got into town about an hour before the funeral or the celebration of life was to start. And I didn't want, not knowing anybody besides Evelyn and her family, they were not there yet. They said that they would message me. So I went down a couple of blocks and found a Wendy's, and I figured I would post up at Wendy's and sit there for a little while. And I decided to order some beef patties with some cheese. And and the lady was very, very, very helpful with me. And she, helped me order the individual patties. I ordered 6 of their large patties, which are their quarter-pound patties, with a slice of cheese each. The patties themselves were $1.50. The cheese was 50 cents a slice. And then they gave me mustard, pickles, some onions, and they packaged it very well. If you haven't had a chance to take a look at the photos, I did post them in just about everywhere yesterday while I was eating. And I was very complimentary because, they went above and beyond to help me. The lady at the counter helped me order. She took her time to help me. And granted, inside is not very busy. But she helped me, and then they packed it just right. And it was a crazy situation because I haven't seen, not what I would say good customer service from fast food restaurants in a long time, but it's one of those things it just seems to be not what it once was. But yesterday was such a pleasant experience. They handed me the food. They had packaged it just perfect, better than I could even have asked for. A lot of times when we go, if you've experienced this, when we do go and we get patties, they'll often put a patty in separate containers and give you a fork for each one. Like I'm eating for 4 people or whatever the case is. And they package it up 3 patties in each. Now, I did post this on Twitter, and Twitter, it was quite the buzz of things. And of course, the internet's going to internet, and it was a very healthy mix of positive and negative, and comments about what I posted. Everything from that's amazing, and especially because it was $12, 6 patties, 6 pieces of cheese, all the stuff for $12. Had I ordered what people told me, just order the sandwiches with no bun and be done with it, that would have cost me $20. And okay, I saved myself like $8. And I think that's very important. Now, I don't order food out very often. My next kind of adventure will be sometime this week going out to Steak and Shake to see if their new grass-fed, grass-finished beef is up to muster, what I think about it, the ordering experience from inside, because I'll go inside and I'll order, see, what are they charging for individual patties? Do they have an a la carte? What does that look like? Get cheese on it. See, they're usually pretty, when I worked there when I was a teenager, it was, completely customizable. But we'll have to see how that looks, right? So another thing was I had asked and talked about doing a video or some information about the new air fryer that we bought. The old Ninja air fryer that we had finally given up the ghost and retired after years of loyal service, right? And I had this whole plan to do an unboxing, show it off, maybe make some content around it. I still plan to make some content around it, but apparently the kids had other plans because before I was able to get to it, they opened it up, set it up, and then started using it. So no unboxing. So far it's a phenomenal air fryer. But I'm looking to see about getting some silicone inserts. And I was going to get some at Walmart, but they had them that they said they were in stock. I couldn't find them anywhere in the store, even on the aisle they indicated. And they no longer carried they had some paper inserts at one point in time at Walmart, but they didn't even have those yesterday. So I'm not quite sure. But so I'm kind of looking to see, what would be better, the reusable silicone liners. But, just going to see what's going on. I'll look on Amazon, see what I can find. And if you have any, recommendations, let me know. And, so let's go ahead and jump over to these comments. I've been talking and chatting a little bit too much again because I had to repeat the first 5 minutes. Again, sorry about that. But Evil Lynn is here. Good morning, friends. Thank you, Dustin, for being one of my best friends. And Steph, if you are here today, I appreciate you so much. Well, you're very welcome, my dear. I wouldn't have been anywhere else if I could help it. It was a wonderful time because we, even after the service, we went and sat at the hotel lobby and talked for a good long time. I did have to cut it short because I had a 3-hour drive home, and I still got home after like about 12:30 at night here because they were where we were. There was an hour time change. So Brian Dish is in the house. Good morning, Mr. Brian. I hope you're doing well. And Sandy is here. Hello, Sandy. So very glad to see you. And Brenda Foley. Hello, Brenda. So very glad to see you. Hello. And Mr. Gugahan is here enjoying some breakfast while waiting for the live to begin. Yeah. And JJ says, good morning, y'all. I'm actually up early today. OMG. Welcome. I'm glad to see you, my friend. Mr. Gugahan said 3 eggs and cheese omelet with a bit of salsa, 4 slices of thick cut bacon, and a couple of pieces of Loving It on Keto with Wendy's new high protein egg. Wendy's, let's see, pieces of Loving It on Keto with Wendy's new high protein egg white bread. Okay, that was a mouthful. You know, and I was talking with Chris, Chris from Ketogenic Geek. And he was like, there's no bacon in that photo. And I'd asked the lady about bacon. And in my brain, she's like, I was like, how much is bacon? She goes, for 2 slices or 3. I'm like, for 3. And it was $1.50 for 3 slices. And in my head, I did the math real quick. And I'm like, if I get 6 of those, that's, that's what, 6 times 3, that's 18 slices of bacon. Or no, like 36 slices of bacon. No, is that right? 6 times 3, that'd be 18 slices of bacon for $9. And I'm like, that's too much bacon, which doesn't make sense either. But all I had to do was pay $3, and I could have had 6 slices of bacon. But I didn't compute it all the way. It didn't quite come out the way that I was anticipating. But I digress. JJ says, one of the things I can't wait to have when I move into my new house next month is a working oven. Oh, I don't know, like, how you could not have a working oven. That's crazy. But I'm looking forward to you having a new place, a working oven, and all the things you need to live a good life, my friend. And JJ says, I've got about 3 or 4 different versions of bread I want to make. Yes, I've been making a lot of my waffles, lots and lots of them. And I've been playing around with like the mixtures and how long I let it sit. And I've added I think I added almost 3 tablespoons of gelatin the other day. And it made it real thick. I think that's the way to go. I think I've been adding too little. Pretty good. A little more mayo. So it's like because typically it's 85 grams of mayo, and then I've been putting 100 grams of mayo, so an extra 15 grams. Added the extra gelatin and 3 eggs. Bruh, it's good. And Evelyn says, sounds great, JJ. I hope it's amazing. It should be. We went without an oven for the first year we were married. Oh. And as much as you bake, how did you survive? It was hard, as I love to bake. I mostly did crock pot meals, and we had an electric skillet. Yeah, I mean, we've got an air fryer, a stove, a waffle iron. I'm loving it. Just making sure I'm not missing anybody. Isabel is here. Hello, Isabel. Welcome. How are you this fine Sunday morning? Jeremiah is up. Sun is shining here. Is it? I can't tell. I'm in my little dark cubby hole. Donna Ray is here. Hello, Donna Ray. Jeremiah, this week we need to get together and go to Steak and Shake and check out those new beef patties. People tell me that there's no sun, there's no talk, me not talking very good, no sound. Yeah, Smoothie, Mr. John is here. Good Sunday, fun day, Dustin and everyone. We're going to skip by those muted sound things because I had issues with the mic cable. Mr. Brian Airy is here. Hello, my friend. How are you? Oh, everybody can hear me. Horizon Crochet is here. Hello. Mr. Rick Charger Mopar, Mr. Quack himself. Hello.
Let's get dangerous.
There we go. Hello, Rick. Welcome, my friend. Yes, Mr. Sir Quack. I think it's a good time right now to take a quick minute here and thank my sponsor, coffee. Coffee's so good. Oh, yeah. Dear coffee, I love you. Jeff is here. Hello, Jeff. How are you doing, my friend? Welcome. Mr. Target Prime Rib Thomas is in the house. Hello. Yesterday seemed so far away. Hello, my friend. How are you? And everyone's saying hello to everybody. Today is the tomorrow you worried about yesterday. Confusing it is. There we go. There we go. Mr. Dan is here. Mr. Lyons, Danivore, Dan the man. Yes, Dustin, always psyching me up. Sunday AM. Welcome, my friend. How are you? Patricia's speaking my language. I love it. And Brian is playing golf. See you next week. Enjoy the time outdoors. Enjoy the time with the friends that you're playing with. Hope you're playing with friends. It'd be weird if you get together with your enemies to play golf, but I digress. Have a good one. And Thomas says, but wait, doesn't today become yesterday doesn't tomorrow become today and turn to tomorrow will become yesterday? Yeah. Too much. Mr. Biscuit's here. Hello, Mr. Biscuit. How are you doing, my friend? Glad to see you, Mr. Biscuit. And John says, dang, why do these ads show up when you're saying something important? That's why I go ad-free. I have YouTube Premium because as much as I'm on here, I don't want to deal with ads. And I mean, we do pay for like the family membership, which gives you 6 accounts. So all the kids, Chandra, everybody has a YouTube Premium account because YouTube is life. And we watch way more YouTube than we ever watch regular TV. Robin is here. Hello, Robin. How are you doing? Good morning, my friend. And good morning to Chandra, wherever you may be. She is at work. Every Saturday and Sunday is where you'll find her at work. And Helix says, I got to open the GDDG today. I just found out that I didn't even know it was there. I drove by it just around the corner from us. There's a new Dollar General marketplace. It looks fancy. I need to check that out sometime this next week or so. We'll take a look and see what do they have, what are their hours, because again, like, it's good to have a convenience. You never know when you need something. Now they just opened a new Meijer around the corner from us, which is really, really close. It's not the most affordable, but unlike Walmart, they actually do sales from time to time, so you can get things actually on sale. And they do carry different things than what Walmart does. So Walmart's like a 15-minute drive. This Meijer is like 5 minutes from me. So, yes. And Mr. Danivore says, good morning, fam. I love it. Yes. And JJ, as soon as I said it, I knew I was in the wrong. Have you ever just said, as soon as the words leave your mouth, you regret it? And that's not what I stand for. It goes against everything, every fiber of my being. Too much bacon. I guess the only way it would be too much bacon is if it fell on me and it was just too much for me to bear. Yes. Mr. Dan says, weak people notice other people's mistakes and laugh. Strong people notice other mistakes and learn. Weak people envy people ahead of them, and strong people study people ahead of them. That's the one thing that I look at here, is I do follow Gary Vee and a couple of other people. Like, one of the most impactful things that I've ever seen Gary Vee say, there was a woman, and I share it all the time, and you'll probably get sick if you follow me in anywhere where I share stories. Whenever I come across one, this lady talking to Gary Vee outside of an event or something, and she's like, someday you'll see I'll be somebody. And he stops her and goes, what do you mean? You're somebody right now. And that's one thing I never understood, especially when it comes to this community. I will never stand or accept people being put down for their mistakes, people being put down for things that are different from them. There's no room for that. We're all here trying to learn. We're all here trying to figure things out for ourselves and to figure out what works for us. And that's going to take a lot of trial and error. A lot of us have been living that trial and error lifestyle for a very, very long time, be it with pharmaceuticals, truly fad diets, where my mom would do these fad diets. I remember one time she was like, I'm doing a grapefruit diet. So all she would drink water and eat grapefruit because, grapefruit melts fat off your body. And and it made sense because it's acidic. All the weird diets that came before starting this lifestyle had it always seemed rooted in something logical, but I think that's the way they spun it to us, because all they had to do was make it sound good. It didn't have to be good. So the 6 small meals to keep your metabolism up, or whatever the case is. There was a thing going around in my office back in the day where they were taking a cup like this, and they would take orange juice and fill the orange juice up to about here and the rest with water. And they would drink that all day. So they're just drinking little bits of sugar all day. And they're like, oh, I've lost 4 pounds or whatever. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, maybe that'll work. Maybe I should do it. I tried Hydroxycut, that product that's you can buy at like Walmart. Now I need to go back and look. I don't even know if Hydroxycut, it may even have beta hydroxybutyrate in it. I don't know. Let me look and see. Does Hydroxycut have beta hydroxybutyrate? Does Hydroxycut have beta hydroxybutyrate? No, standard Hydroxycut products do not contain beta hydroxybutyrate. BHB is an exogenous ketone primarily used in keto supplements to help raise blood ketone levels and encourage body to enter ketosis, which I don't necessarily believe that just having ketones in the blood, if they weren't produced by your body, necessarily indicates that you're in ketosis. For me, for the record, that ketosis is a state of the body where it not only produces its ketones, but also is able to utilize them as a preferred method of fuel. That means you don't have an overabundance of glucose in the body. You're not like overproducing insulin at that very moment. That's kind of where I see ketosis, not just the fact that there's ketones in the blood. But yes. Cindy is here. Good morning, Cindy. How are you? How is Brian? I hope he's doing good. Mr. Guinea Pig.
And Low Carb Spin is here. Hello, Karen. Hi, Dustin and all the chat. I'm baking in the sauna, feeling like I'm in that oven. Oh, I love it. I love you've got a sauna. That's amazing. And Stacy is here. Good morning, friends. Hello, Stacy and Ken. We love you very much. How are you? Mr. Gugahan said, tighten things up starting June 1st, and I've lost 6 pounds since. More importantly, my blood pressure is starting to normalize, and my fasting glucose is consistently under 100, ketones between 0.4 and 0.9. That's amazing. What are you doing different, my friend? Spill the tea. Spill the tea. Slip on the beans. Uncle Charlie is here. Hello. How are you, Uncle Charlie? I'll be listening. I'm vacuuming the pool. Oh, that sounds nice. I love it. And Mr. Gugahan said, I did a couple of 36-hour fasts a la Dr. Boz, and that really seemed to... I have been slacking on my fasting. I haven't fasted at all in 2026. I don't even know if I did a full fast in 2025. I can't remember. Time. I think after my birthday, I will do I haven't done a 7-day fast in a while, but I also haven't done any like 36-hour fast in a while. I think I need to do a couple of those. I need to start maybe throwing one of those in a week and see how that impacts me, to see what that starts to do for me. I feel a little bloated still. So we'll see. We'll see what's happening. And JJ says, YouTube Premium, the best $15 I spend every month. Yeah, we spend, I think it's like $23 a month. I don't know, it might be $26 now. But again, 6 accounts. And Thomas says, life is great. Still feeling sick, but only coughing. Woke up to the poor cat throwing up. Oh, poor kitty. Oh, that's terrible. And my sugars are high again, 247. Yeah, if you're not feeling well, your sugars are going to go through the roof. That's a natural response. If you're actually sick, your blood sugars usually go up. Cortisol, sugars, all those things. Andy is here. Good morning, Andy and Susan. Good morning. How are you guys? Oh, yeah. Welcome, my friends. And Evelyn says, happy belated birthday to Chandra. I love it. And Biscuit says, YouTube is not getting a penny from me. There's always a coffee to refill. So for me, I look at it like this. YouTube gets money regardless. But I look at my time as money as well. And the time that would waste and irritate me and frustrate me with the ads in YouTube justifies the money that I would spend to avoid the frustration. Now, I do run ads in my videos because I am a monetized channel. And I mean, if I get I'll get a couple hundred views on one of my lives, and that'd be about $4. So I look at that like anything that we are going to do where we have limited amounts of time. So any TV show we watch, you know, it's better to have the ad-free version because, again, time. You know, I might be able to watch 2 episodes of a show versus 1 episode of a show with all the commercials. Or I wouldn't be able to get through as much content as I'm able to get through with the ads. So I look at, for me, it's a time savings and so like $20 a month versus the hours that I save with no ads. That's just the way that I look at it. Lance is in the house. Hello, Lance. How are you doing, my friend? Welcome. So very glad to see you. chipmunk speed. Do, do, do. Yes. And Thomas is going to fast today and tomorrow. Now, if you're not feeling good, I don't know what people say about, I haven't really thought about it or looked into it too much, but like the idea of fasting when you're not feeling good, because sometimes when I don't feel good, I want to eat. And then sometimes when I don't feel good, I don't eat for a few days just because I don't feel like eating. So I guess that's really kind of what it comes down to. But, Thomas says there's not going to be a cooking video until then. Okay. Very good. Mr. Gugahan says, I have been up since 4 a.m., did my devotion, read my Bible, cleaned the bathroom and kitchen, made breakfast, and the Army still says there's more to do than me by 9 a.m. Have you ran 10 miles yet? Then I don't know. I don't know how much they run every day in the Army because I didn't go to the Army. I probably should have, but I didn't. Terry is here. Now the party can start because Terry always brings the trouble. Oh. And Danivore says, oh, snap. I interviewed Gary Vee twice on my Jets pod. He's such a great dude, such a humble and people person. First kind of my guy. Oh, I love that. I would love to have a chance to talk with Gary Vee. I would love it. It would be so cool if he would get into this space. I think he would be even more of a wrecking ball. If he could get into this space, I think he would be even more unstoppable. Super curious about that. So many people I would love to see get into this space. My nose is itchy. Please pardon the miss. And everyone is still saying the same. Yeah, the cabbage soup diet. Yeah, my mom, so one of the weird things that I found years and years ago is I was intermittent fasting without thinking about it, without even understanding it was a thing, not even paying attention to it. I was eating, for dinner, rice and tilapia. I was making 2 packs of boil and bag rice, which was probably at least, I don't know, probably 4 servings of rice. And then I was making 4 or 5 fillet of tilapia. And I would eat that every night when I got home from work. And that would be about 1 or 2 in the morning. And then I wouldn't eat again until 8 p.m. on my lunch break, 8:30 on my lunch break at work. So I was actually 16/8 intermittent fasting. And I did slim down. I was also, working at a warehouse. So I was on my feet for 8, 9, 10, 12 hours a day and moving around quite a bit. So it was one of the, not just moving, but intermittent fasting, even with just rice and fish. I was in my early 20s. It was just a convenience. I could just boil a rice, cook the fish. Just like now, I haven't tried. I need to see if my air fryer holds 4 patties because I've got some of the square patties from Walmart. They have round. I know they have square patties too. And I'll see how those cook up. I'll tell you what, those burgers from Wendy's yesterday were so good. Oh, and it was cool because I did put, again, not to keep talking about it, but I did, compliment them, and Wendy's on Twitter hit me back up and said they will reach out to the store manager and all the stuff, and hopefully they get the accolades they deserve. Because if you do a good job and you make a customer happy, you should get accolades. Because I think when we deal with a lot of the fast food, especially right now, there's so much hate when it comes to fast food. Fast food has gotten exorbitantly more expensive. Now, I didn't mind what I paid for the patties, even though it's twice what I would pay if I made them myself. But I didn't cook them myself. I was 3 hours from home, and I could have not eaten and would have been just fine. But, it would give me an opportunity to make a little bit of content and kill some time. But, you know, yeah. There we go. Miss Booby Goats is here. Hello, Aaron. How are you doing today, dear? So very glad that you could join us today. I love it. And Josephine is here all the way from Australia. So far away. It's amazing to me that not just, 4 hours away, 5 hours away, an hour away, people who live in other parts of the country, people who live in New York, California, people who live all over this wonderful country, but also in amazing countries outside of here. We have Helen, who lives in the UK. She lives in Wales. I haven't seen her in a while. Hope she's doing well. If you're listening, Helen, I'm thinking about you. If you hear this in the replay, I'm thinking about you. Same thing with Josephine here, all the way from Australia. And Janine from Australia also comes in some of the lives sometimes. We have people who were in South Africa for a while. Now they live in the States. It's just amazing how small the world can be sometimes when you need it to be. And Dan says, second interview with Gary Vee, he was not in a good mood. It was the morning after the Jets lost. Happens often. We're pretty miserable by default as Jets fans. Carnivore doesn't cure everything. Oh, yeah. I mean, if the Jets were carnivore, could they beat the Bears? I don't know. So we're going to be allegedly, and I don't know how much of a bargaining token it is, how much of a bargaining chip it is, but allegedly we're up where I was yesterday up near I was in Hammond, Highland area of Indiana, and that's going to be where allegedly the Bears' new stadium is going to go. They're still going to be the Chicago Bears, just like the Jets don't actually play in New York City. New York City! No. So I don't know, and people are like, are they going to be the Indiana Bears? They're not going to be the Indiana Bears. They're going to be the Chicago Bears, but they're going to be in Hammond, Indiana. Now, is that just a bargaining chip? Are they trying to do this so they get a better deal? Are they trying to do it to where the city of Chicago breaks down and gives them what they want to completely overhaul where the stadium is currently and help them with the infrastructure? Who knows? Time will tell. But it's looking like it's really, really close to being the Hammond Chicago Bears. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. And Lance just finished a 7-day fast Friday night. Ketones on Friday hit 7. Dr. Boz ration hit 11. Oh my goodness. Mr. Gugahan said, whole food ketovore, no snacking, stop eating by 5 p.m. and focusing on improving my sleep. Sleep is so very valuable. So very valuable. And Aaron says, I get a couple hundred on my lives and I make $1. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. Well, I don't know. It's just strange because sometimes my lives I'll make 50 cents. So it's really kind of unknown. You never quite know what you're gonna get, right? Let's see. Oh, let's see. Most of my So weirdly enough, some of my content performance for the last 28 days, older videos are making a comeback in my content here. My natural flavors videos made almost $4. My zero carb waffle video is made about $4. My white bread chaffle recipe is made $1.18. A crispy hash brown video is made 79 cents. And my pork and goods surprise, because they sent me a surprise box a couple of years ago, has made 69 cents. It says that out of 2,000 views for the last 28 days, I've made $7.48 per 1,000 views for $14.48. Shorts, I've made $20.74, 48,000 views in the last 28 days, 43 cents revenue per 1,000 engaged views. And then live streams, I've made $119.41 in the last 28 days, 2,100 views. It says $57.08 per 1,000 views, which is an inflated amount because there were some super chats that kind of get in there, and that kind of does things. The different super chats and the super stickers and things kind of inflate those numbers. So, yeah. In the last 28 days, super chats and gifts, $80, memberships, $51, watch page ads, $36.91, short feeds ads, $22.58, an affiliate program, $1.40. Woo! Which irritates me because my affiliate ads, I have sold over about $1,100 and have made $1.40. I'm not complaining because I had to do zero work for it, but it's just one of the things just to kind of to consider, right? Just something to config, just something to affiliate $1.40, which is better than it was 83 cents for a long time. Let's go. I'm going to see has it changed how much I've made? I'm curious. It's thinking. Let's change this over to, let's see, what do I change this to? There we go. Let's do 365 days. Made $1. So far, it says an estimated revenue $2.23, and I've sold $1,065.77 worth of stuff. Somehow I sold a Purina dog chow complete dry dog food. I don't know what that is. Has nothing to do with me. Chicken flavor premium dog food, dog things. Weird. Suave coconut oil infused shampoo and conditioner. Weird. Very, very, very weird. Very weird indeed. There we go. I like refilling coffee, not a waste for me. I understand. Yeah, I understand completely. Yeah, and John says I find it easier to fast when I don't feel good. It just depends for me, like how I don't feel good. Because sometimes I don't feel good and I'm like, I just don't feel like eating. I don't feel like getting up. And then sometimes I don't feel good and I just feel hungry. There's like different types of not feeling good, you know? And Thomas says, I am the latter. Feels like I'm forcing the food down. Yeah, so then, yeah, don't worry about it. And Cindy says, no YouTube premium for us. Ads are great for potty breaks. LOL. So's the pause button. $20 a month for 200 or it's $240 a year. That's a KPO ticket. I get it. I understand. And Stacy says, I gave up heavy whipping cream in my coffee, now used quail eggs and butter. Salty, whipped up good, down over 4 pounds with that being my only change in 2 weeks. That also gives me the equal to 2 eggs a day. 2 extra. Oh, that's awesome. And plus you've got almost an infinite supply of quail eggs. And Mr. Biscuit says, intuitive eating has served me. I have no reason to doubt its efficiency. Yeah, efficacy. Efficacy, yes, not efficiency. And Thomas says, I'm too big to get into any space. I don't know what I missed there. And Mr. Biscuit says, wow, Gary Vee, blast from the past. I followed him on Wine Library from about 2006 to 2011. He's kind of gone into the social media like space. He makes content like he talks about going to yard sales and doing flipping from yard sales and how to market yourself better and how to not listen to other people to find your true potential and not listen to the negativity of others. It really does help. It really, really does help. And JJ says, I worked at Burger King for 10 years, and I always call the manager of a restaurant if I get explimentary. Yeah. That's what I mean. I like to go to social media because, again, social media is where everybody, like, the negativity lives and thrives. If you go and look at the Twitter post that I made, you'll see plenty of negativity, people posting pictures of me and things like, well, he eats like this is why he's still fat and all these things, right? So, I mean, there's obviously still mean comments in there, and I just let it go because, you know, and somebody was like, you know, well, you know, just eat at home. And I'm like, well, I was 3 hours from home. That makes it difficult to eat from home. And somebody said, well, why didn't you just bring burger patties with you? And I'm like, I could. It was a last minute decision. I didn't plan to go out to eat. I just happened to run across the Wendy's, thought, you know what? Let's see what happens. And it was a very pleasant experience. So, you know, and I just think, you know, we need to, I also don't get a lot of like interaction with people much outside of a toddler. Well, she's not a toddler anymore. She's almost 8 years old and a 6-month-old baby. Unless I'm going to like the grocery store, which I talk to the cashiers and I love people. And like I was encouraging one of the cashiers at Meijer the other day to go. She's like, because I was talking about Chandra being a nurse and things. And she was like, oh, I need to do that. I was like, go get your nursing degree and become a nurse. Do it. There's no reason to not go better yourself. And Thomas says, I just cooked the cabbage soup diet started in the late 50s, or just look, the cabbage soup diet started in the late 50s, but gained popularity in the 80s, and the Cabbage Patch Kids started in 83. I imagine there was probably some kind of epiphany there, you know what I mean? Cabbage soup diet, been there. I mean, like, take a head of lettuce. How many calories are in a head of lettuce? Let's take, or a head of cabbage. Because we know there's probably essentially zero fat. So an average medium head of cabbage, about 5 to 6 inches in diameter, contains roughly 220 calories and 50 grams of net carbs. For a more granular breakdown of a medium head, approximately 900 to 1,000 grams, total calories, 220, total carbohydrates, 52 to 57. So is it total or net? So I'm guessing net carb, dietary fiber is 15 to 20, leaving roughly 35 grams of net carbs. So this is giving me a little bit different information, right? Per cup breakdown, raw, shredded, if you aren't eating the whole head at once, a standard 1 cup serving, or about 89 grams, yields 17 calories, 4 grams of total carbs, 2.5 to 3 grams of net carbs. Now, when it comes to vegetables, that's kind of like whether it's broccoli, cauliflower, or cabbage. Those are the kind of things that I don't necessarily care too much about the net carbs, like net carbs or the total carbs. Those carbs don't really bother me because I don't eat them all that often. Sometimes I just really want some cabbage, but I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if you can eat a whole cabbage or not. I mean, the thing is, if you take a head of, cabbage and shred it down and put it into a pan with some good fats and some butter, and then mix in some, bacon or whatever you want, or whatever kind of meat you like sausage or whatever, and you can make it and cook it down. You still probably can't eat the whole pan, but it's still delicious. Carl is here. And I had to get my coffee and keto brains. That's what I'm talking about. And Andy says, exactly. YouTube ads are crazy. $15 a month is justified. Plus double side, the download option that comes with it. Yeah, you could download your videos. You can watch them with your screen off. Yeah, that helps me a lot when I'm driving the car and trying to listen to you guys' lives. I can hit the live, turn the screen off, put the phone down while I'm driving, and listen and just drive. Listen and drive, live and listen. Can't do that without premium. But yeah. Annie's got to take her meds so I can eat breakfast. I love it. Josephine says, I've been slowly getting sicker and I have been on and off. OMG, this sucks. LOL, my doing is I need to say no, thank you. I told Jordy I'll be buying my meat. She will need to buy her own. Oh my goodness. Well, I hope you get that all squared away, dear. Retired Rick is here. Mr. Rick Carnivore 69. Good morning, Dustin and everyone. I'm excited that you're here. And Josephine says, I think I might have done something to my neck. Oh, my neck hurts all the time. I need to go check out. Has anybody been to the Joint Chiropractic? I'm not that big of a fan of chiropractors. I don't necessarily know how, I don't know. I feel like I just need to be popped and nobody can do it. Like my neck and my range of motion. Yeah. And Andy says, I can't be sick. I've got a pregnant daughter that's due in a couple of weeks. I'm mandatory on delivery rooms, so I'll be upping my immunity. So I'm well. Yeah. But unfortunately, Andy, there's certain things that we can't dictate. Sometimes nature's going to take its course. We can do what we can to circumvent all that. But as you know, and Jeremiah says, good morning from the Books of Faces. And JJ says, question for the non-premium users. Do you see ads during lives? Yeah, some people do it because I get complaints. I get complaints about commercials or ads during the live streams. They no longer really give us an opportunity to tell where they go, though. So, and John says, yes, and some are non-skippable. It's quite annoying at times. And he says, I learned through my channel that I'm better at making money other ways. Too much work to get pennies, plus my mental capacity is not as stressed. Yeah. Angela is here. Good morning, Dustin and everybody. Well, good morning, Angela. How are you? Good to see you. There's Rick. Mr. Twinbrook Acres is in the house. Hello, Mr. Rick. How are you, my friend? How is everything in the East Coast? And Evelyn says, if I've missed you saying hi, please forgive me. I'm having hotel breakfast while listening. I hope you know I love you all. If there's anybody who ever comes into my chats that I have no doubt loves each and every one of us, it's Evelyn. She is full of love. All the way to the brim, it's coming out of her ears. Oh, my goodness. 16 days old. Oh, the squishy little, oh, my goodness. Oh, I love it. Andy said, Mama and Daddy said they are tired. Of course they're tired. They're newborn baby parents. And that's where, grandparents come into play. And, Grandma and Grandpa show up and hold the baby and take naps and change diapers. And John says, used to like boiled cabbage. It's okay to like boiled cabbage. I still like a lot of things that aren't good for me. Doesn't change the fact that I like them. There's just certain things that I know I don't. I mean, there's a lot of things that have changed where I just don't desire them anymore. Terry Girl says, she says, if I was in high school and going to school assembly about the proper human diet, I think you would be such a good speaker for that type of venue, Dustin. That's my goal. I do hopefully will get a chance to, become a speaker. It's just very much, it's definitely like, one thing that I've started looking at for this channel is going in and diving in to, and something that we can definitely talk about. It's a definite big kind of conversation to have. It's not necessarily what we're saying. It's how we say it. And there's definite issues I see with YouTube these days with a lot of demonetization. And do I think they're targeting certain things? Not the way people think. There is a lot of crackdown on faceless AI channels that use an AI voice and AI images, and it's all put together, and it's really kind of, it's not really necessarily even fact-checked information. There's videos that I click on about topics that I'm excited about to get into it, to realize that it's all AI and it's like not even pronouncing words correctly. And I mean, granted, no matter how far along we are with AI, it is still very much in its infancy. But with that, also, one thing that I have been paying attention to is reach. So outside of monetization, how do we get more reach? How do we get YouTube to push our content? And that's by curating the way that we talk about things. Like being mindful of the vernacular that we utilize. So one of the early things that we talk about, and even Dr. Barry's talked about this, instead of using terms like fat adapted, where fat may be, like using the word fat may be, excuse me, may be a problematic term because it's picked up in here. We're just saying the word fat. So it doesn't know what context in which we're using the word fat. Are we using as a derogatory term? Are we using it as a term to describe something on meat? How are we doing? How are we doing that? Excuse me. So so like instead of using the word fat adapted, we would use keto adapted. And maybe even further in, metabolically flexible. Metabolic flexibility. How do we utilize the vernacular in a way that the YouTube algorithm pushes us out more? Because again, it's all dependent on how we say what we say and the context that we say it, but not always. Because sometimes these things, the way the programs work don't always pick up the context. So we have to kind of do that legwork for it. So that's something that I'm going to be working on and building into how I explain things and how I start to work on the phrasing, the vernacular that I choose to explain things. Because again, one of the big goals here is to have reach and to get people to listen. Not necessarily to follow along, but at least to hear what we have to say. And if we can find a way to provide our information in a way that YouTube pushes and sounds reasonable to more people outside of this community. It's a win-win-win for the community. Again, as I talked about a little earlier, is the fact that a lot of the diets that we heard about growing up sounded reasonable. Like, of course, grapefruit is probably going to burn fat. Duh. But did it? Not really. There's just, my mom tried all kinds of things. My mom drank a lot of water, but she was also type 2 diabetic. So she was constantly thirsty. She was, she always had her own like 32-ounce cup. And she drank water, and she didn't just sip it, she just chugged. Chug all the time. And that's kind of carried over to me a lot too. But again, that's something that I'm starting to try to process and to work on and piece together, because it's going to take time to work out how I utilize phrases and words to get my information across in a way that YouTube is more likely to push it out to more people. And hopefully more people will click and they will listen. And then whatever they decide to do with that information is up to them. But getting it in front of them is the hardest part. It's like you can lead a horse to water, but if there's no water to get the horse to, what are you going to do? Angie is here. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Sunday fun day. Oh, I am late to the party today. Hope y'all are good. We are doing fantastic. I love it. And Andy said they'll be about 3 or 4 weeks apart. That's going to be awesome because they're going to be best friends. Best friends. And Sunny is here. Good morning, Sunny. How are you, my dear? I love it. Terry says, I used to love cold cabbage sliced and salted. That sounds interesting. I don't know. I didn't really eat cabbage too much until we went keto. That was like this. I didn't eat cabbage until we went keto. I didn't eat Brussels sprouts until we went keto. Even the first Brussels sprout experience I had on keto was boiled Brussels sprouts. Blech. You cut them open, shake them in butter, salt, some oil, put them in the oven and roast them. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. That's what friends are for. Mr. Papa Pretzel Pete Carnivore's in the house. Good morning, my friend. How are you? What have you missed? You missed all kinds of wonderful things. But that's okay. We've missed you too. Tonight, Pretzel Pete's going to have some, I don't know why I call him Pretzel Pete. I mean, the guy had like one pretzel one day and everyone's like, oh, I'm going to call him Pretzel Pete forever. But that's what happens, I suppose. But he's going to have some Rick's Heart Attack drumsticks tonight. Friday night, I made Heart Attack chicken, or also known Butter Bob chicken. You can fight the comments on which one there really are. That's okay. Just duke it out. Mr. Gugahan is heading to church. Have a good day, my friend. Be safe. Hit the like button on your way out if you haven't already. And Pete says, I gained some weight over the last 6 months when I added back in yogurt and berries after dinner. Stopped the berries, and a month ago, yogurt 3 days ago, already down 5 pounds. It's just a little experimentation. Just a little experimentation. That's all it takes. Yeah, yeah. But okay, again, this is always something that I like to talk about because what's the mechanism behind it? We talk about food addiction and we blame the food. We blame the food for food addiction. We blame the food. But what is the metabolic and historical or ancestral component behind food addiction? And not to say that the current living conditions here that we have on this planet, the times that we live in, are unprecedented with food abundance. We have to take this into account. So we have food abundance. Still not the foods problem, okay? And I know this may be a controversial hot take, but I don't think it's the food's fault. Scarcity. Food scarcity is the reason for our food addiction. Food scarcity is the reason that when we come across palatable foods in nature or now at the grocery store at every single turn, not even the grocery store, the hardware store, clothing stores, anywhere that sells snacks, soda, the gas station, anywhere and everywhere you shop almost always has something like candy, soda, chips, snacks. You can't go anywhere without this. It's still, again, not the food's fault. It's abundance. It's the abundance issue that we have. Now, we can't necessarily be angry at abundance because that's a modern marvel. The idea that we are living in an unprecedented time in human history where we have an overwhelming amount of abundance, and then we kind of get a chance to see how does that impact us as humans, takes us back to the reason why we have these food addiction issues. Are we addicted to food? Yes, because it was biologically built into us. Think about it. If you were a person, a hunter-gatherer, a forager, and you came across a bush of berries and you were like, meh, I'm not that hungry today, you may not live through the winter. So you saw the bush of berries, an apple tree, you saw whatever. I don't know, figs, whatever, wherever you happen to be in the world, right? Wherever you happen to be in the world, what grew naturally and in abundance at particular times of the year would have played a role in what you shoved into your face hole. It's just the way that it worked. I think that's the nature of our food addiction. We blame the food, but it's not the case. It's our biology. It's a survival technique. We would eat as much as we could fit into our bodies, maybe till we got sick. Just shoving in the berries and apples and whatever we came across, because that's how we were able to pack on some extra weight. The few extra pounds of fat may have made the difference between seeing the next spring and not making it through the wintertime. So I think we as a community need to step back and look at, again, the vernacular is important here. Where we look at food addiction, we look at how we phrase it, how we look at it, how we categorize it, and understand. Now, again, we have an abundance of food that is hyper palatable, hyper processed, so that once we start, we can't stop. It plays into those natural instincts of our body to eat until we can't eat anymore. So, again, I don't believe it's the food. I think it's the engineering that goes behind it. But I think, again, I know that there's some maliciousness there, but I don't think it started that way. I think it was, how do we get to a point where nobody starves anymore? Just like this world. There's no country on the planet, I should say, there's enough food on this planet to feed everybody probably 2 times over. The problem isn't the food. The problem is getting it to people. The infrastructure, the government overreach in certain areas. There's all these things that come into play that wreak havoc on the planet when it comes to starvation. Here in the United States, we do not have that. Again, we have a different kind of issue. We are overfed. Again, because those biological things kick in when we start eating these foods and we can't stop. And we say, you know, we're addicted to all these foods, but I think we have to stop and look at why, what's the mechanism, what's the historical reason behind it. And that's what we have to understand. And I think it's very valuable to do that because it helps me understand why I had such issues with food addiction. It helps me know that I was not broken. My body was doing what it was designed to do. It was designed to not starve to death and to store fat for the winter. But winter never came. There was never a lack of abundance. We always have food. There's always food. It's a lot of food. But again, it's a historical precedent that it's unprecedented that we have this much food. Never in human history have we had this much food. But yes. JJ fact check post before posting. You know, I mean, sometimes, you know. Sometimes we'll fact check things. Maybe even spell check them. But nah, that's overrated. Terry says, I think you're onto something, dusting. The talk, I mean, the fat turns off many people and wondering needs to have different color, so to speak. Yeah, I think because it's, you know, it's what we talked about a couple of weeks ago about the Overton window. Okay. Now that's a primarily a political term that's been around for a couple of decades. But the idea is that we have this window here, right? That what's inside the window, so my face is inside the window, so what my face is acceptable, and everything else outside of my face is considered fringe, crazy, whatever. So how do we take all these crazy ideas and concepts, carnivore, meat-based diets being healthy, when it's the complete backwards from what we've been told for so long? And we get so frustrated with people when they don't listen to us, when they are taking advice from the doctors. They're taking advice from the people that they're supposed to trust. They're not supposed to trust us. Why would they trust us? We are not supposed to be trusted, so to speak, right? We're just people on the internet. You're supposed to trust your government. You're supposed to trust your doctors. You're supposed to trust your healthcare professionals. Why are you trusting me? That's the hill we have to climb. And that's why I stress the idea that they're not necessarily trusting us, but they're trusting their own eyes by watching us, seeing what we are doing. It almost has nothing to do with what we say to them. Yesterday, we were at Evelyn's mother's celebration of life, and Evelyn packed hard. She knew that she needed to overcompensate, so she packed keto chow fudge, she packed chaffles, she packed all these things she knew that she would need so she could be successful on one of the hardest days of her life. As one does, right? You do, if you can manage it, be prepared. Okay? And she's trying to share this with people. And I think if you come at it from an angle of this is healthy, this is good for you, people are going to be less likely to try it because, you know, I was sitting at a table, and you see people, young people, old people, all the people together eating, you know, plates full of cookies and candies and little beanie weenies and all the things, right? All the normal snacky foods that you would kind of expect to see in a situation like this, though most of the times I go to these, there's like sandwich trays, but I digress. But I mean, there's all this. So they're eating cookies and candies and brownies and all these things. And, you you got this tub of keto chow fudge, which is delicious. But if you don't tell somebody that it's like, here, want some fudge? Okay. And like, oh, this is good. You have a recipe? Oh, sure. Here's the recipe. I think we come on strong because we believe in what we have to say. We have done the legwork for ourselves. We have found something to be true for us that we didn't know to be true for a very long time. And we have to remember that being frustrated with the people who have yet to discover this truth, people who have yet to discover these things for themselves, they may see us from a distance, but they're unsure. Again, why should they trust us? These are the questions that we should be asking. Why should they trust us? It doesn't matter what we say. It doesn't matter the articles we share. It doesn't matter. None of that actually matters because, again, we are going up against the people that they do trust because those are the people that they should trust. Because for decades, we all trusted our doctors. We trusted our health professionals. We trusted them until they gave us reason to not trust them, until we started figuring things out for ourselves. And I'm not talking about doing your own research on Facebook or whatever. We did an equals one. We tried different things. We started working out what works best for us. Because the traditional diet culture failed us over and over and over to the point where it was either give up or try this. And and obviously all of you here tried this. And I'm thankful that you did. So, how do we convey the information that we are so chomping at the bit to get out to the public without sounding like a lunatic? That's hopefully what I'm going to be able to figure out and put into content and to put into these live streams. Having, emotional, vulnerable conversations. Reaching out, hopefully getting people to tune in and join in. Let's see who else is talking here. Terry says meat and fat turns so many people off. It really, really does. Just the idea of eating meat. What do you mean? How like that? That's like the idea of the whole like the idea of vegetables. Like, well, you don't eat. Like, to me, one of the most derogatory things our community can say to somebody who doesn't understand the way that we eat is just to come out and say vegetables are poison or vegetables are trying to kill us. Because for you, that may be 100% true. And it may be true for the person you're talking to. But phrasing in that way, putting it that way, is not going to get you it's not going to do you any favors when it comes to them listening to you because it sounds ridiculous. Because for the last 200 years, vegetables are healthy. Vegetables, vegetables, vegetables. Eat your vegetables. Ever since you were a child, eat your vegetables. Does that kid even eat a vegetable? My kid won't eat vegetables. I just want him to eat vegetables. Vegetables we're told that vegetables are the healthiest thing on the planet. They literally make a concoction out of seeds and call it vegetable oil. How do we take what they do to us, flip it, and then sell it back to them, but in a way it sounds reasonable, to make it impactful, beneficial, digestible, reasonable? Again, how does it sound? How do we make what we are trying to do sound reasonable? And that's like one of the big things that I have about some of the fringe of this community, even some of like the policymakers and such, is they come out and they say things that may or may not be factual, but they don't sound reasonable. Because you can be right. You can be 100% correct and not sound reasonable. It's all about that bedside manner. How do you provide somebody information in a palatable way that they can understand it, digest it, it sounds reasonable, and they're like, well, maybe I will give this an actual thought. And I don't think as a community we talk about this enough, because we are so gung-ho about spreading the message. We don't often take time to think about how should we try to package and sell this message. Because we hear so often, well, truth hurts. Well, obviously it does. And again, it's very much easier to fool someone. It's way, way easier to fool someone than to convince them that they've been fooled. And what are we trying to do here? Convince people they've been fooled. They've been bamboozled. Not necessarily out of malice. Some. Ignorance. Incompetence. Sure. Not always malice. And I think that's a very important thing to do. Yeah, and Terry said it's an advertising game. How do we package what we are trying to do to help people in a way that they will actually give it a look, a thought, ponder it, think about it, take it to chew on? It's very important. And that's what I'm using. I'm utilizing these things, you know, use AI, you know, and not just that, but how do we as a community dial it back some? Like, that's where, like, you should only eat meat. Somebody says, why are you cooking your meat? Sounds ridiculous to somebody. If they're on the outside and you say, you know what, I don't even cook my steaks. That's like one of the things that Dr. Kiltz does. And I'm not trying to call him out, but he is a prominent figure here. And he, on his live stream, sits with his dry-aged steak that's a couple of weeks old that hasn't been cooked and starts taking bites off of it. To the uninitiated, that seems crazy certifiable. That does us zero favors. And I understand that that's something that he does. And I'm not here to argue the efficacy of it or whether or not you should or shouldn't do it. It's not something that I'm personally going to do because it looks weird. We have trouble trying to get people in our community to eat sardines, and they taste better than tuna. That's just, I mean, not fresh tuna steaks. That's a whole other ballgame. Canned tuna. And why do we call it tuna fish? We know it's a fish. Are there any other kinds of tuna? Is there tuna? Is there like tuna cars? No, it's tuna fish. Why do we do it? Why? And Pete says, nice Bucky's cup. That's my signature cup. I try to have it here every week, so you know what's going on. And Terry says, so earlier you were saying that the Wendy's hamburger patties were good. I have a Wendy's here, but have never gone. I don't like McDonald's patties, all plain. It tastes disgusting to me, as Rick says. Give them a shot. I would say go in the first time, talk with the cashier person, have them kind of show them the picture that I posted, and be like, this is what I want. I want them, I want however many patties you want, 2 patties, 3 patties, 4 patties. If you want cheese, have them put the cheese on each patty, stack them up. You can get bacon. They have bacon. I think it's 3 pieces for $1.50. Now, this was in Hammond, Highland, Indiana, so your prices may vary. But again, I had so many people push back on Twitter the fact that, why don't you just order a bunless burger? I got 6 patties, 6 slices of cheese for $12. If I would have ordered 2 triple sandwiches just bunless, they would have charged me almost $20. So that's why. That's why, because I'm trying to save a little moolah. I am not made of money. But I thought they were pretty delicious. I got some mustard on the sides, put a little bit of mustard on them. They gave me some pickles, some onions. You can get whatever you want. Have it your way at Wendy's instead of Burger King. I thought they were juicy, delicious, thick, juicy. They were, because I think I find like McDonald's patties a little dry. The same thing with Burger King. Give them a shot. It's worth a try. It's up to you. You may like them, you may not. And Rick says, the only off plan is an occasional pickle with my steaks. See, this is one of those things. Like, I think, like, when somebody comes in and they hear this, that a pickle is off plan, sounds ridiculous without further context. Context matters. Here, Pete is trying to hone in his way of eating. He's trying to simplify. And he's talking about, like, occasional pickle, maybe some sauerkraut with hot dogs or sausage, but not that often. So while that sounds completely reasonable to us, to somebody who's not in the know, who's on the outside looking in and thinking they're so crazy that they look at pickles as a off-plan item. Again, we have to look at these things, and it's very important on how we look at this. It's like, when you go, and I understand carnivore lives are going to be carnivore lives and whatnot, but, like, why do you need plants? You don't need plants. Well, that may be so, but how do we get more people coming in to listen to us? It's just how I look at it. And Terry says, some people need to learn what hunger feels like. People understand hunger because I had uncontrolled hunger for decades. Always hungry. No matter how full I was hungry. Hunger, now understanding satiety, I think, is one of the true. Once you've understood satiety, then hunger brings on a whole different thing. Like, I hardly ever get hungry now. Does it happen? Yes. Anymore, I know kind of when I should eat, and it mitigates that. Like, I don't get super hungry because I know when I should eat. I kind of like, if I eat now, I'll be okay, and then I don't have to worry about it later, and then I'm not eating too late. It's a lot of planning involved, but I mean, it's simplistic planning. It's just like, okay, if I eat now, I have time now to eat, then I won't have to worry about it later. But yeah, the comfort food thing, that kind of goes away once you've kind of relearned what satiety is. Now, obviously, if you're dealing with something hardcore emotional and you were an emotional eater, those things are going to come back and they're going to hit you like a ton of bricks, and you can't beat yourself up over it, right? Risa says, good morning, all. I just realized it's Sunday. Well, I'm glad you're here, my dear. And Lisa is here. Good morning. So glad. Thank you for being here. All the people are saying hello. And Papa's going to be 64 on June the 15th, and I'll be 47 10 days later. Woo! Angie says, I watched a documentary last night on YouTube called Globesity. It was very interesting, and Chile is doing a great job on educating their children about making food choices. I'll need to look at that and see what the food choices they're telling. I think it comes down to what the choices they're making. Because I think in our country, they're trying to give us the wrong choices. They're trying to go, meatless Mondays and eat less red meat. And now whether you're a conspiracy theorist and think that, you know, they've engineered these alpha-gal ticks to be whatever, I have to say that, like, it's not above. Our government's done crazy stuff in the past. You can go and look up the things that, like, that's happened in our country over the last 100 years, the things that we've done to our citizens, that it's not, I can't say I would put it past them. I would just hope that they have learned and they're not doing that kind of thing anymore, but it's possible. But anyway, I digress. Oh. Yeah, hyper-palatable bliss point foods developed over intense testing in food science for decades is part of it. Yes, it is very much part of it, and the abundance of it. And it also happens to be the fact that most of these hyper-palatable foods that truly trigger this bliss is also typically the cheapest food, or what seems to be the cheapest food. Like if you say, you know, like take you know, I'm going to have a chicken salad because steak is too expensive. You go and you buy, you know, a big thing of chicken, you know, you buy a thing of chicken breasts, and that's an amount of money. And then you're going to go buy the romaine lettuce, and you're going to buy the tomatoes and all the accoutrement to go along to make a Caesar salad or whatever the case is. And then you've spent more than you would have on just the steaks. So there's a perceived level of affordability versus unaffordability. And it's the way we look at prices. It's kind of how Aldi operates. Aldi, you have to be careful because the way Aldi works is they will charge a what seems lower price, but you're getting a smaller portion. Like it might, instead of like a 16-ounce package at Walmart, Aldi may have a 14-ounce package or a 12-ounce package, and you'll think, oh, well, the price is so much better, but you're not looking at the cost per ounce. Then Walmart does this too. Walmart does this all over the place. You can buy, sometimes you'll think you're getting a better deal on a bundle. Like I was buying peanut butter, and the 2 peanut butter jars together with the plastic was a price. And then the individual peanut butter was another price. And you would think by just, they're going to bundle it together, it's going to be cheaper. But if you look at the tags on the shelf, you're paying more per ounce for the bundle than you are for buying the singles. So you can buy the 2 singles for cheaper per ounce than you can buy the bundle, the 2 that are plastic together. Yeah, ice cream is one of the very difficult things to stop eating, like because it seems like because it turns to liquid, so it's almost like there's no real like bulk to it. So you can just eat a whole, like either you eat it till you're like sick, which I have done before, or you run out. Yeah, and Terry's not wrong. So to me, whenever you want something like potato chips or French onion dip or whatever, you just need some salt. That's true. Very, very true. Yeah, I mean, and I understand yeah, it's going to be a very long process for us to regain any kind of illusion of control over what is produced and how much they're making and how they try to sell us these things. They're not going to give in. The only way that we can make them is if it becomes to the point where that's the only thing we buy, and then they have no choice but to relinquish. But then again, we have to pay attention. Like anytime we have products that we like that are good for our community that get bought out by bigger corporations, yes, they're then able to be in more stores. The price might come down a little bit, but then we have to pay attention to the ingredients because it almost always changes. Well, and you know, and what Pete says, people who eat the sad diets call us crazy when they're stuffing their faces with chips, cookies, candies, and ice cream and crap all day. Yes. And they do call us crazy because we are on the fringe. We are putting out information that doesn't resonate with the status quo. Why should they trust us? It comes down to why should they trust us? Why should they trust us over their doctors, their physicians, their healthcare professionals, their nurse practitioners, their dietitians? Why should they trust us? Do we sound crazy? Absolutely, we do. Think about when you first started thinking about this way of eating. How insane did it sound? Even if it started to work, it didn't compute. Even to this day, I think about like how I've always looked at meat as you know, like meat's unhealthy. It's going to clog my arteries. And I'll see a big stack of juicy, dripping, greasy burgers. And it's still hard to fathom that that's good for you. That we've been misled for so long. It's like what Dr. Barry said the other day. We've been misled and misfed. It's a quote for Dr. Barry in his New York Post, Fox News article that he had the other day. Misled and misfed. So we have to handle this with kid gloves. We can't go, why do we sound? Why do they think they're the one? Because they're the ones who are doing and eating the way they've been sold. We're changing things. There's always resistance to when you try to change things. And again, it comes down to why should they trust us? Steph is here. Good morning, Steph. It was good to see you yesterday, my dear. So very good to see you yesterday. I'm glad that you were able to be there. And Christy is here. Hello, Christy. I'm glad to see you, my dear. The Picanha Queen is in the house. The Queen of Picanha. And John's no longer worried about the public. Well, we should be, because isn't it our responsibility to try to help the general public, to showcase by showing our successes? I mean, I feel that it's my responsibility to try to figure out how to make sure that people are finding out the information that they may be so desiring to find that they feel that they'll never find. So, of course, we should be worried about the public. Because if we can get more people on board, then prices, in theory, come down for us. Quality should get better. Things start to actually change. We can't figure it out for ourselves and then just shut up and shut down. That's not what this community is about. And Rick, we know you're nuts. 100%. Off the charts. And that's why we love you. Yeah, and Charge goes, I'm the one person in the carnivore community who gives away fruits and veggies, because I don't necessarily think that fruits and veggies are inherently poisonous for us. I think the quantity of them can be the issue. And for some people, I mean, for most people, I imagine the glyphosates, the stuff they get, the pesticides, the herbicides, all the things that get sprayed on them probably doesn't help us at all. And maybe some of the root causes to some of the gastrointestinal and some of the, the IBS and issues and the gluten allergies and all these things. And Ninja says, so many reasons to not trust the people that are the people, or a lot of the people that we think we should trust. Doctors have left me overweight, frustrated, broken for years. Thank God for you all. I'm getting my life back. Yes. But how do we communicate that to people who are not ready to hear it? How do we communicate this piece of information in a way that can get through the noise without sounding crazy? And Lance, yeah, true. The people that we have trusted for years have failed us. So we've had to take matters into our own hands. And so how do we continue? How do we keep that going? How do we get the information out? And Steph is asking, does anybody know of a vegetarian keto channel? Let's see. I know that there is, I know some vegan ones where there's a vegan keto. Let me look and see what I can find. So I can't think of her name. I know I'll see it as soon as I see it. Let me see. What is her name? And ruled me channel, which is 500,000. I don't know how many subscribers it has now, but there's a guide to vegetarian keto. It's like a 6-year-old video though, 8-year-old videos, 3-year-old videos. You know, can vegetarians do this? Sure. Just trying to think of what her name was. There's a vegan kitchen life, vegan keto, vegetarian keto recipes. I know that Sahil has some on his HK keto and low carb recipe playlist. He has vegetarian keto recipes. Why can't? Maybe she took her channel down. Let me see. Heavenly fan. I don't even know if she's making content anymore. Let's see. Is she making videos anymore? She made a video 11 months ago. Yeah, so the Heavenly Fan, she makes content. So there's quite a few in here. Yes. Heavenly Fan is her name. Karen Harrington is in the house. Good morning, dear. How are you? And Karen says, I like tuna fish, but I don't like... I'd rather have sardines all day long over tuna fish. Tuna fish is dry and like... I don't know. It's just not good. It's not good. It's like I'd rather have sardines any day of the week. You're more than welcome. Come here, talk, converse, be a part of the community, be a part of the conversation, Pete. It's okay. Please join us. Be a part of the conversation. I haven't cooked any of the square ones yet. I haven't been eating much of those frozen patties in the last couple of weeks. I've been eating a lot more lunch meat just because I've been really lazy. Really, really lazy. Just Jerry is in the house. Good morning, Dustin, and the regulars, decaffers, and espressos like me. Yes. And Terry's like, are they basically smash burgers? No, they're like Wendy's burgers. But I do have some Walmart smash burgers in my freezer as well. I've just got to get... I have so much stuff that I want to do, but then like I've been like busy with other stuff, like taking naps with a baby, you know, priorities. But I do like me some smashed burgers. Jerry says, I survived the Healing Humanity Saturday. How was that? Was that Healing Humanity with like Jenny Middich and everybody involved? And Rick says, fermented plant material is okay on carnivore. I mean, really, carnivore is what you want it to be. If it's 70%, 80%, 90%, 95% carnivore, you get to make the rules. And Pete says, Wendy's are my favorite fast food burgers. Well, like here in my town, like where I go, I went in and they wouldn't even sell me the single patties. I was out of town and got them. So it would be nice if I can be like, look, hook it up. Chrissy says, for my coaching practice, I'm using a pick a lane approach, low carb, keto, carnivore lane. They may enter at low carb and then discover some things, or maybe low carb works best for them. Yeah, I think like realistically, I think how I approach my coaching is not necessarily figuring out where on the spectrum they need to be, but figuring out what they normally eat, what their goals are, and how they can make sure that everything fits together to find the consistency that they're looking to find. And then they can start to tweak things. Because again, it's not up to me to tell them what they should eat, but how to navigate what they eat in their life to make themselves consistent, to find the success and the goals that they have. And yeah, but I like that idea too, is I think everybody kind of needs like you know, like when you look at like the scale at the doctor's office where you start over here and you can move over here and nope. Oh, there we go. Just right. Where on the spectrum are you going to fit? Angie says, if you have a Kroger store, they sell Wendy's raw beef patties and Wendy's bacon to make it home. Yeah, I've seen those. I haven't tried them, though. Mr. Biscuit says, time is the answer. Change small and transformative will happen, but it requires time. This is the way of all things in society, 100%. And how do we maximize our time? How do we make our time more effective and have a better use of it for ourselves? That's important as well. No Kroger's in California. But in California, don't you guys have like those discount stores, like the outlet stores? We don't have those here. Yeah, I've seen the cans of the chili. They have chili has beans in it. I don't like it. And Rick says, Dustin, the word is spreading. At least there is a community now, and it is growing. I yelled, screamed, and preached back in the 70s and 80s that SAD was bad for us, and no one listened. Right. That's the thing, is like, how do we communicate this in an effective, meaningful way that people are it's kind of bore like an earworm? That's like, it's one of those things that transcends whatever community it is. The way that you go about trying to discuss your ideas. It doesn't matter what your ideas are. If somebody doesn't agree with your ideas and you call them a bunch of names and you scream at them, even if they may have agreed with you, they're not going to listen to you. If people are put off with what you're trying, or if people are put off with how you're saying something, it doesn't matter if they would agree with you if they heard you. That's what I'm trying to figure out here. How do we move forward and try to get everything that we can out, so get the most impact for our time? And Pete says, I really eat ground beef. I prefer steaks, chicken thighs. I like ground beef a lot. I like steak, ground beef, and chicken thighs, and some bacon from time to time. But pork doesn't do very good for Chandra, so I kind of pull back on that. So realistically, it's just one of those things like, okay, ground beef is the most cost effective, even though it's still ridiculously expensive right now. But Chicken thighs are $1.77, $1.79 a pound, so we've been eating a lot of those. And Jerry's saying, Terry Girl, yesterday I brought up that in one of my live drives from there. The movie has to go through the channels before full syndication, before fully syndicated. If you get the chance to see the movie in California. Okay. It's been a good day, everybody. We're coming up on 2 hours. I think this is where we will start to wind this down for the day. Let me kind of get through. Say hello to Sharon. I see that she's here. Good morning, Sharon. Glad to see you. Just trying to get through and make sure that I'm not missing anything. Risa says, packaging is lying. I weighed a package of ground venison that said 16 ounces. It weighed 15.3 ounces of actual meat. I was pissed off. Yeah, that thing is we have to be looking at that. Like, make content. Make a video about it. Pull your phone out. Record yourself weighing it at the store. Post it. Tag the store. Tag the company that has the packaged meat. There's a guy out there that's doing it. He's been on like big news reports because he's found like, and he's doing like Domino sugar and meat and all these different things. Dog food. One of the bags of dog food he picked up at Dollar General weighed half of what the package said. It's supposed to be 12 pounds. It weighed 6 pounds. We all should be kind of doing that. Spot checking everything we buy. Yeah, this is for real. Like the shampoo that I buy for Chandra, if I buy the individual conditioner and shampoo, it's like 17 cents an ounce or whatever. But if you buy the bundle in the box, it's like 19 cents per ounce. So that doesn't make sense. You would think you're getting a better deal. Yeah, Sharon's right. They also try to throw you off with the labeling, the per ounce or the other measurement. But you can just pull out your calculator real quick and just do the math yourself. You can figure it out. I mean, everybody has a calculator in their pocket now. Just pull your phone out. You got it. Let's see. I love all the conversations in here. I'm just trying to get through. Yeah, Heavenly Fan is vegan, but I think that's a place to start. Because vegetarian isn't that much. I mean, to me, vegan's a more stricter version of vegetarian. So it'd be like the carnivore version of keto, the carnivore version of whatever. So, I mean, you can kind of go up from there. Julie Powell is here. Good morning. So very glad to see you. And Lisa's got to get ready for church. Have a great day, my friend. I'm so glad that you were able to join us for a little while. And I'm just trying to get through this chat here. I'm a little tired. Oh, let's see. Angie says, my husband has to travel for work. He tells restaurants and fast food places that he has a food allergy, so the patties can't touch the bun. They sell him the meat patties, then no problem. I love that. My thing is I just don't want to pay for all the extra stuff that there's a price difference. Like you're paying all this extra money for a burger. And it's crazy they're charging that much for the bun too. So maybe if I gotta be careful, they'll start charging more for the patties. That's why I didn't get Culver patties one day. We went there. I was like, they were $2.50 a piece before cheese. Crazy. Shelly King is here. Hello, my friend. How are you? It's been so very long. I hope you're doing wonderful. So glad to see you. I'm glad that you're going to join us for even just a couple of minutes as I'm saying goodbye and getting ready to say goodbye even more. Yeah, Heavenly Fan, yeah, she did a French fry recipe with almond flour that got really, really popular for a while. Probably got millions of views, and so many other people tried it. But yes, thank you all so, so very much for joining me. I'm going to go take a nap. I'm feeling very, very tired. Yesterday was a long day, a lot of driving. I'm glad that I was able to be there to support my friend in her time of need. And thank you all so much for being here and supporting me today. Thank you, each and every one. Be sure to hit that like button before you leave. Take a look at my links, ketosimple.shop, whether it's salty or whatever it is that I have up for sale. Take a look at that if that's something you're looking to buy anyway. Every little bit helps. Thank you all so very much for the love, the support, for not just me, but for everybody else in this community. And I will see you on Tuesday, everybody, okay? And with that, I love you. Here come the credits.